In the heart of a sweltering Chicago summer, where the city's pulse thrummed with heat and hustle, a single question stopped Nathaniel Sullivan cold. "Sir, could you be my daddy for one day?" The voice was small but piercing, belonging to 6-year-old Chloe, her blue eyes wide with hope in a crowded cafe. Behind her, her mother Mia, a single mom barely holding on, froze in panic. Nate, a CEO hardened by a decade of loss, felt his world tilt. One question, one moment, could it unravel his guarded life and forge a family he never dared imagine? Keep watching to find out. Welcome to A Story That Lingers. Before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching. If these stories resonate with you, please hit that subscribe button to support the channel, because tomorrow we'll have another special story for you. The Chicago sun poured through the glass of Brew and Bliss, a chic cafe where ceiling fans spun against the July heat, stirring the scent of roasted coffee. Nathaniel Nate Sullivan, 45, stood at the counter, his navy vest open, his green-gray eyes sharp with irritation. "I ordered still water," he said, setting a bottle of sparkling water down with a soft clink. The barista, barely 20, fumbled the receipt, her hands shaking. "I'm sorry, sir. I thought you thought wrong." Nate cut in, his voice cool and clipped, adjusting his silver watch. He didn't raise his voice. His presence, tall, commanding, did that for him. The line behind him grew restless, sighs, shifting feet, the hum of a busy Chicago morning. Nate didn't flinch. Precision was his currency. Errors, even small ones, were unacceptable. Then a voice, small, clear and startling, sliced through the tension. "Sir, could you be my daddy for one day?" Nate turned. A girl about 6 stood before him, her golden brown curls tied with a yellow clip, her blue eyes wide with sincerity. Her pink t-shirt was faded, her neon socks clashing with her green shorts. Behind her, a woman rushed forward, her dark hair in a loose ponytail, her beige coat too warm for summer. "Chloe," she gasped, crouching to grip the girl's shoulders. "You can't run off like that." "I'm so sorry," the woman Mia said, her brown eyes meeting Nate's exhaustion carved into her face, though her strength shone through. "She just says things sometimes." Chloe stood firm, undeterred. "Tomorrow's Father's Day at school, and everyone has a daddy but me. You look nice." Nate froze, his meeting the water the line all forgotten. Her honesty cracked a wall he'd built over 10 years of grief. Mia stammered. "Her dad passed when she was 2. "She doesn't mean yes, I do." Chloe insisted, her gaze unwavering. Nate looked at Mia, her resilience clear despite her worn sneakers and tired eyes. "What time is Father's Day?" he asked, voice low. Mia blinked, startled. "10 a.m., but you don't have to. I'll be there," Nate said, surprising himself. Chloe's face lit up like a summer sky. "Really?" He nodded, a faint smile breaking through. "Just one day." Mia stared, stunned, as Chloe bounced, her sneakers squeaking on the tile. Nate walked out, the city's heat wrapping around him, his heart stirred by a promise he hadn't meant to make. Sunlight streamed through the elementary school's windows, illuminating walls plastered with crayon drawings and glittered posters. The July air was warm, kids' laughter echoing through the halls. Nate arrived at 10 sharp, his navy vest and white shirt stark among parents in t-shirts and flip-flops. Chloe, in her pink t-shirt and yellow hair clip, ran to him, thrusting a glittery paper hat into his hands. "Wear it, Daddy," she chirped, her blue eyes sparkling. Nate hesitated, then put it on, the glitter catching the light. Parents whispered, recognizing the finance CEO, but Chloe tugged him toward a finger-painting station, unfazed. Mia watched from the doorway, her beige coat slung over her arm, her brown eyes soft with surprise. She hadn't expected him to show up. Nate dipped a brush in blue paint, his strokes clumsy, until Chloe giggled, guiding his hand. "You're bad at stars," she teased. A memory struck Sophia laughing as their son Lucas smeared paint on his tie 10 years ago. A drunk driver stole them both, leaving Nate with empty boardrooms and silence. He shook it off, focusing on Chloe's chatter about her goldfish. During story time, Chloe climbed into his lap, handing him a book. "My Daddy's a Star." "Read it," she whispered. Nate's voice, usually sharp in investor calls, softened as he read Chloe leaning against him. "You feel safe," she murmured, half asleep. Mia's breath caught outside the window, her hand pressed against the glass. Nate met her gaze, a silent connection sparking. "You didn't have to come," Mia said later, as they left Chloe skipping ahead. Nate watched her yellow clip bouncing. "She needed me." For the first time in years, he felt more than powerful, he felt needed. The small bistro glowed with candlelight, soft jazz mingling with the scent of warm bread. Nate had invited Mia and Chloe to dinner, telling himself it was to wrap up the day. Chloe, in her neon socks and pink t-shirt, scribbled a crayon drawing of three stick figures under a bright sun. "It's us," she said then, casually. "Daddy, can you pass the bread?" Mia froze her ponytail, swaying her brown eyes wide. "Chloe, he's not." "It's okay," Nate said softly, passing the bread, his heart twisting. It felt right, dangerously so. Rosa Martinez, Mia's co-worker from the cafe, joined briefly, her curly hair bouncing as she teased, "He's a keeper, mija." Mia blushed, shaking her head. Over ice cream, Nate spoke quietly. "I lost my wife and son 10 years ago. A car accident." Mia's eyes softened. "Mine too," Chloe's dad 3 years ago. The shared pain hung between them, heavy but binding. Rosa whispered to Mia before leaving, "Let him in, girl. You deserve it." Chloe yawned, clutching her drawing. "You're my favorite daddy," she said, her blue eyes drooping. Nate's throat tightened, his green-gray eyes stinging. Mia met his gaze, hesitant. "She can't keep calling you that." Nate nodded, but his voice was low. It felt right. As they left, Chicago's lights blurred in the humid night, and Nate realized he didn't want this to end. Not yet, not ever. Bruin Bliss buzzed with morning chatter, the July heat seeping through the windows, ceiling fans whirring. Mia, in her thin beige coat, tied her apron when the manager, a stern woman with a clipboard, pulled her aside. "You're done," she said, citing conflict of interest over rumors tying Mia to Nate, the cafe's landlord. Mia's heart sank, her hands trembling. Rosa, wiping the counter, hugged her tightly. "It's Carlos, your brother-in-law," Rosa whispered. "He's been talking to the owners." A memory flashed, Carlos, cold and distant at her husband's funeral, abandoning Mia, blaming her grief for his own guilt. Mia sat at a bus stop, the city's heat oppressive. Chloe asleep against her yellow clip askew. Nate's sleek black car pulled up, his green-gray eyes sharp with concern. "Rosa called me," he said, stepping out. "This is my fault." Mia shook her head, her voice firm. "I don't want handouts." Nate knelt before Chloe, waking her gently. "It's not a handout, it's justice." He offered her a job at his foundation, a chance to work on community projects. Rosa's words echoed in Mia's mind. "You're stronger than you know, Mija." Mia hesitated, pride warring with the hope in Nate's eyes. In a Chicago park, sunlight filtered through lush green trees, kids' laughter mixing with birdsong in the July air. Carlos Reyes, in a sharp black suit, his dark hair slicked back, confronted Mia. "Chloe needs real family," he said, demanding guardianship, claiming Mia's life was too unstable. His guilt for abandoning Mia after his brother's death fueled his resolve. He thought controlling Chloe would fix his past. Nate stepped forward, his voice low and firm. "She has a family." Carlos scoffed, promising a legal fight, his briefcase glinting in the sun. Mia's hands shook, memories flooding back, Carlos's cold shoulder at the funeral, his refusal to help when she was drowning in grief. Nate took them to his office, his jaw tight. No one takes her from you, he told Mia, his green-gray eyes fierce. Chloe clung to his hand, unaware of the stakes, her yellow clip bouncing as she hummed. Mia whispered, "Why do you care so much?" Nate met her gaze, his voice steady. "Because you're not alone anymore." The city's skyline loomed outside, but inside their bond grew unshakable. The July heat clung to Mia's cramped apartment ceiling fans, whirring uselessly. Chloe's fever spiked to 103, her cries weak, her pink t-shirt damp with sweat. At the hospital under harsh fluorescent lights, Mia was turned away, no insurance. Desperate, she texted Nate, "Help us." His SUV screeched up and he carried Chloe inside, demanding a doctor. "I'll cover it," he said, his voice steel. Mia collapsed in a chair, tears falling, as Nate held Chloe through the night, her tiny hand gripping his. Memories crashed over him. Lucas sick with a cold, Sophia's soothing voice, both gone in a crash 10 years ago. Nate's eyes burned, tears falling for the first time since their funeral. "I can't lose her too," he whispered to Mia. She touched his arm, their shared fear, weaving them closer. Chloe stabilized as dawn broke, her blue eyes fluttering open. Nate's heart had shifted. He wasn't just helping. He was hers and she was his. The media storm hit hard. CEO plays daddy to single mom's kid. Nate went live on a Chicago TV station. No script, the studio lights soft against the murmur of reporters. "I lost my family 10 years ago," he said, his voice breaking. "Mia and Chloe are my reason to live. They're not a story, they're my home." The broadcast sparked a wave of support donations flooding local shelters. In court, Carlos pushed for guardianship, his suit crisp, his argument cold. But Chloe stood, her voice clear. "I picked Nate. He's my daddy." The judge ruled for Mia, and Carlos, humbled, apologized, his guilt finally laid bare. Mia hugged Nate, Chloe nestled between them, her yellow clip bright. "You didn't have to fight," Mia said, tears in her eyes. Nate smiled, his hand on Chloe's head. "I did." Chicago cheered their story, a beacon of hope shared across social media. In a sunlit Chicago park, a wooden arch stood draped in ivy, the July air warm with birdsong. Nate, in a gray blazer and white shirt, knelt before Mia, her white dress flowing, sandals gleaming. Chloe, in a sparkling white dress, tossed petals in clumsy handfuls, her blue eyes shining. "Mia, you and Chloe made me whole," Nate said, offering a simple ring. Mia nodded, tears falling. "You showed me love is home." Chloe chirped, "Forever, Daddy," as Rosa and friends cheered, clapping wildly. Their bookstore, Chloe's Corner, opened downtown, a cozy haven of stories and community. Nate read to Chloe nightly, her head on his chest, Mia smiling from the doorway. A child's plea, a single question, had built a family not of blood, but of choice. Their laughter filled the shop, the city's hum fading behind them. Like, share, and subscribe to A Story That Lingers for more tales of love and second chances. Keep holding on to hope. Sometimes the smallest voices lead us home.